Hi everybody, Barbara Manconi Smith. Today I just decided to do this impromptu live. I was literally at the beach with my family when I read some disturbing messages on disturbing posts on our group, and I felt the need to really drop everything I was doing and come here to address fear. And I hope you really take this live seriously, because I think this belongs to all of us. It's a conversation that needs to happen. We need to start talking about fear more, and we not need to wait for someone to be in a hospital saying that she's ready to die, or that she would be let alone to die, to raise these conversations within these groups, within other groups. I think it's really important that you guys, that we really start to address fear, because your life could depend on it. And so I'm serious. I just left my family at the beach to come here and do this, for whoever is live to come and join me in this conversation, because it could be one of the most important conversations we ever had. And this is fear and the role the fear plays in your life. So if you're coming in, just say hi, so I know you're there, you're watching. I know that some of you will be watching later, but I hope for this to be a conversation so that we can have a dialogue, and I'm inviting you to post, to ask questions. So why am I here? I was at the beach with my family and I read this disturbing message. I shouldn't have brought my phone, but I read someone that is really not doing very well right now. She's in the hospital and she is concerned for her life. Other things she said that kind of raised a question for me, and some concerns, is the fact that she feels isolated, alone, abandoned by the medical medium, because apparently she has, asked him for support and he's ignored her. He has not responded to her, and for this reason she feels isolated. And literally she said, "I'm ready to die. I'm so sad that I have to die." So if you're watching, I hope this message is for you too. I responded to the message. I told you that you don't have to die and you're not alone. You're seen, you're accepted, you're loved. And if you need anything, please reach out to me directly. You are not alone. But this was just a prompt for me to widen the conversation to all of you, because fear is something that is part of our daily life, and we don't even realize what role fear plays in our sickness, for instance. So fear is much more than just a feeling that we have when we get close to the edge of a cliff. Fear is something, it's a coping mechanism that we've learned early on in childhood, very early on, and it became a mindset. So fear is a mindset. Fear is not just a random feeling that you feel once in a while, once you get scared. Fear is your mindset. Why do I say that? First of all, I do this every day in my soul circle, but I've noticed what's happening, even in this group. I notice what is the motivating factors for most of your decisions. And I want you to be honest here. If you're watching, or if you'll be watching this later, I want you to ask yourself, all the things you're doing now, drinking celery juice, doing the diet, being raw, 369, lymphatic reset, whatever it is that you're doing so diligently, ask yourself, why is it that you're doing all of this? Why? And if the answer is because you're scared of what would happen if you don't, then you know that your mindset is a mindset of fear. Now, please don't feel alone, because this is shared, universally. We live in a culture that is it's based on fear. Why? Because fear creates followers, because fear creates people continuing to buy products and supplements and new books. I mean, that's what fear does. But fear can hinder our health in ways that you possibly cannot imagine. So again, if you're watching now, I want you to ask yourself, you are on this healing journey. Ask yourself why. Why are you afraid? What is it that you're afraid of? Why is it that you're drinking your juices? Why is it that you're doing your 369? And if the answer is fear of what would happen if I don't, fear of what would happen if I die, if I get sicker, if I can't work anymore, if I can't take care of my kids, then I'm not saying that it's not justified. I'm just saying that you have to become aware of what your mindset is. And this is key, you guys. There's no healing until you guys are able to reverse this. There's no amount of celery juice that can help you overcome the damage the fear brings into your life and into your body. Because I want to make sure that you guys understand, this is not some kind of kumbaya type of conversation I'm having. Fear that we're discussing today, it's scientifically proven to hinder your health. So it's not just something like, well, it's normal to be fearful. You are constantly living in a state of fear. This translates in altered chemistry in your body. This brings you to be in a constant state, a parasympathetic mode, constant state of fight or flight. This changes the way your adrenals work. This changes the toxicity in your body. This feeds viruses as a pathogen, lower your immune system. So fear is not just something that you feel sometime, the sense of hopelessness and isolation, like the person that is in a hospital right now. This is not just something that is disconnected from what she's feeling. Fear, it's the major cause of what you are feeling right now. It's intertwined with what you're feeling right now. There's no virus without fear. There's no autoimmunity without fear. And the question is, the challenge is to address them together. So I want to ask you an honest question. Have you ever found yourself at night unable to sleep? It could be during the day too, but usually night is worse. When you start feeling something and you start Googling frantically, panicking, what could be? What is it? Why is it that I'm feeling this way? And of course, Google is the worst, right? Because you can virtually find anything connected to death. So whatever if you want to find the reason why you could be dying and it could be really bad what you're feeling, you will find on Google. But so picture yourself in the middle of the night, frantically panicking, not able to sleep, and searching on Google, what could be? What is it that you're feeling? Why is it that you're feeling? And ask yourself honestly, what state are you in when you do that? Is it a state of relaxation? Is it a state of surrender? Is a state of acceptance? Is a state of courage? None of this. You are in a state of fear. So especially when I get clients coming in and frantically texting me in the middle of the night, early in the morning, Barbara, I'm feeling really bad. This is really bad. The things are escalating, and they are escalating because of their fear that sets in. So I'm not saying that they were not feeling what they were feeling. I'm saying that the fear, it's emphasizing what's happening. And so fear, it's something that we need to face if we want to get better, if we want to get empowered. So, as I said, fear affects the chemistry of your body. So fear is not just a thought, it's not just a feeling. Fear is as toxic, if not more toxic, than the gluten you eat, than the coffee you drink. Fear, could be poisonous, to detriment to your body, to the point of death. Yes. In fact, don't we have the saying, scared to death? Why? Because fear could lead to death. So I urge you guys to face your fears. First of all, to acknowledge them, to acknowledge that you come from a mindset of fear. This is why you're here. This is why you're watching. If you read the headline of this live and that resonated with you, you are in a state of fear. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just need you to acknowledge this. If you want to get better, if you want to get to the root cause of what's really making you sick, and I know that it's easier to believe that you read a book and you listen to podcasts and you say, I got it, it's the virus, disregarding though everything that brought you there, everything that brought your immune system to be low, to lower, to get compromised, to then leave the space for viruses and pathogens to take over your system. But at the bottom of it all, there's a mindset of fear. And again, if you're starting to watch me now, if you never see me talking, please come and say hi. Ask yourself, why is it that I'm doing what I'm doing? What is my main motivating factor? Is it because your family? Is it because you want to see your daughters getting married? Is it because you want to get your life back? Is it because you want to get married? Is it because you want to be out of pain? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And then ask yourself, why? Because I'm afraid that if I don't, I will not see my daughter getting married because I'm afraid that if I don't, I will never get married. If I don't, I will never have kids, because we're afraid. And this fear that is omnipresent, is pervasive in every single cell, literally in our body. It activates every cell in a defensive mode. Every single cell. That's what the adrenals are shooting up. Hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, and put our whole body in a state of alert constantly. Even if you don't think you're scared right now, even if right now you're actually chilling with your family somewhere on the weekend, at the bottom of it all, you're still scared. And if you're scared, you basically, it's like keeping your immune system constantly on, because the immune system doesn't distinguish from your mental fear of death and the lion that is coming to get you. Your immune system is on. So you are fueling that pilot light constantly on, even when you don't realize it. It's called autonomic nervous system because it's autonomous, because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about being afraid for the body to know that it's in a fear mode. And that is the tricky part, because if you knew you don't have to do that, then you stop. But with the autonomic nervous system, it happens whether you are aware of it or not. That is the problem. But so what do we need to do? What is the antidote for fear? The antidote of fears, you guys, is courage. It sounds, again, this is not a kumbaya kind of conversation, you guys. It's a very scientific conversation. There's tons of studies about fear and how fear hinder our healing process, and actually how fear is the culprit of our diseases. If you really dissect and go down to the bottom of it all, fear is the cause of it all. So when I hear sometimes people listening to Anthony's podcast and getting super scared about what's happening out there, what's going to happen in 6 months, what's happening with coffee, what's happening with the sky, what's happening with the blood, I want you to ask yourself, after you listen to this, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel strong? Do you feel empowered? Now, I know that some of you will say, well, this information, if information is power, 100%, I agree. But then I still want to ask you, and how do you feel now? So you're empowered with this information. So you're going to go out and get a blood draw? Are you going to go out and have coffee one day with your friends? Are you going to go out and open a knob, or just simply open it in an Amazon packaging without remember all the steps that you need to take to make sure that you've sanitized everything so that, God forbid, those actions stemming from fear or from empowerment? Knowledge may empower you, but knowledge can also freeze you and paralyze you. So, and I tell you that because I talk to you guys every day. Not specifically you, hi Maria, but a lot of you every day. I have 5 groups going on and many more individual clients. And I have my private groups that are still there even after they've taken my classes. So I talk to you all the time. And all of you, there isn't one person that truly comes up and says, I'm good. I am not touched by fear. So you have to understand the difference between getting empowered with knowledge and information and getting paralyzed by that and living in a constant state of fear. God forbid, I can't touch this. I can't do that. This is a no food. And that's your life. And you think that you're going to get better in that situation? No, you're not. You're not going to get better. I can promise you, you can get partially better until you reach a plateau. And instead, you're going to go down. So I ask you and I urge you guys. Again, it's a Friday afternoon. I finished my classes today and I went to the beach with my family. But when I read that post today, I got seriously affected by it. Nobody should feel alone. Nobody should feel powerless. Nobody should rely on Anthony responding to the question they're going to live or not. This is not where the answer is. And if you're waiting for someone else outside of yourself to give you the answer, then you're living in a state of fear because you got all the answers. And if you're waiting for someone else or blaming someone else for not getting to you, to your question, to your answer, you're living in a state of fear. You're living in a state of paralysis, and you're living in a state of disempowerment. And in that place, that cannot be health and healing. So look at fear and the way you relate to life as one of the main reasons as to why you may be where you are right now. At some point, you lost faith, which is really the opposite of fear. Because to get courage, it requires faith. As I said, courage is the antidote of fear. So, but in order to be courageous, in order to believe in courage, you have to believe in it. It requires faith. So it's important that you believe that you can get better. It's important that you believe in your body's ability to get better, in your body's ability to heal. You're not too sick. I don't care who you are, where you are, how old, how sick, what's your gender. I don't care. All of you can heal. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to take my word for it. You just read, and I will put at the bottom of this live a lot of resources for you to guys and check out. One of this is this book. It just came, it's one of the books. I love her. Her name is Lisa Rankin. She's a doctor, but she was one of my teachers, but she's a very bright mind. So she knows that there's more than traditional medicine. And she devoted her life to teach people the power within yourself. So if you do nothing out of this life but purchase this book, with which I'm not affiliate and I don't make any money from this, but seriously, again, I dropped my family outing to come and do this with you guys. My husband said, this is not your responsibility, you shouldn't do it. I'm still here because truly that post touched me. And I want to make sure that even if one of you today listens to the message and resonates and started to think about fear and how much fear plays in your life, and maybe start to question how much fear plays in my sickness, that would be worth it for me. It would be worth it for me to have left my family and come and do this to you in California, 5:40 p.m. in the afternoon. So this is a book. There are many, and I can put the resources at the bottom. But the fear cure, meaning curing the fear, because fear is making us sick. Because when you also have the choice, remember the pandemic? Remember how much fear mongering was happening? Into don't go out, don't touch this, don't do that, but get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated, all this fear. So a lot of you, even practitioners, I heard you say, turn off the Facebook, the social media, turn off the news. Why? To put healthy boundaries so that you're not bombarded with these fear messages, right? To try to be within yourself and find those answers. But equally, you also have to turn off messages, no matter where they come from, of disempowerment or constant fear mongering, dropping bombs. How much are they going to help you if then they keep you in a state of fear? I don't agree with those messages. I don't support them. Again, I think that information is power, but there is a limit. There's also a way to convey messages, right? There's a way to convey message empower people, and there's a way to convey message that disempower people and keep people in a state of fear, because you guys come to me and you are freaked out. You are freaked out because now you're afraid that if you go out and you meet someone that is being vaccinated, you may get transmitted something that, could hurt you. You're freaked out because maybe you do get vaccinated and you don't know what's in there. So you're freaked out. You freaked out because you heard that other viruses may be released. You're freaked out because now you discover that Anthony said that every year, influenza is being released over and over again because they're out to get us. How is this message going to make you feel? Are you going to go back to your kitchen and feel like totally empowered? Or are you going to make sure that you don't see these people, that you don't hang out with them, that you don't eat this stuff, that you continue to just do IV of celery juice because God forbid something happens. God forbid you miss your dose. This is not life. This is not life thinking that you're never going to have a glass of wine. This is not life thinking that you're not going to have a cappuccino one day. This is not a life, you guys. So if you want to heal, you have to face your fears. You have to face what motivates your action on a daily basis. And you have to ask yourself, how much do I believe that I can heal? Not how much does Anthony believe that I can heal. Not how much anybody in this group thinks that, if you do certain things, you're going to heal. How much do you believe that you can heal? And how scared are you? How driven by fear every single thing you do in your life every day is? Because if it is, this is the first step towards emancipation, you guys. Acknowledge it. Acknowledging is all I'm asking you to do today. Acknowledge that you're riddled with fear. First step, say, yes, I am. Yes, I am scared. Yes, I rely on outside sources, outside of me, to tell me what to do. Today I have a client that got spiraling down, and she literally texted me like lengthy messages, and then called 3 other doctors, and then came back to me and told me what the 3 other doctors said. She was clearly spiraling, right? fear paralyzing her and disconnecting her from the field of power. Her field of power, we all have that, our inner pilot light. And when we spiral down that way where we're like, please listen to me, anybody, you come on a group, you're asking questions frantically, you go in every group because I see you guys, I belong to other groups too, right? And I see you asking the same questions. You're freaking out. So what good can come from that state? You're trying to feel better, but what you're doing, the state you're in, it's what's dragging you down. Again, in the middle of the night, wide awake, Googling what could be, and you might find 5 people say, no, you're good, this is good. But the one person that says, no, this is really bad, you may die from this. That's all you listen to. Why? Because fear calls fears. It's like a magnet. So that's what happens. Fears calls fears. It's like magnetizing. So you don't even regard people that say, yeah, it's totally fine. That little dot, sleep on it. You'll be fine tomorrow. Well, that dot, it happened to the mother of my daughter, of my sister, of my uncle, and my aunt, that eventually ended up being cancer. She died in 3 days. And you listen to that. There might be 100% say, it's a little dot, it's nothing, go to bed. But you will remember that person that died and she also had a dot. Do you understand how much you're putting your health, your well-being in the hands of sources outside of yourself? Again, it doesn't matter what the source is, who the source is. And when you lose your field of power, this is when you lose immune system. This is when you lose your strength. This is when you lose your vital force to fight, to believe. Because again, the antidote to fear is courage. But you need faith in order to have courage. You need to believe. And with this, in this group, you need to believe that you can get healthier and that your body is in charge of that. Nobody else's. No supplements, no cleanse, no practitioner. Your body is in charge of your health and is in charge of making you get better, making you feel better. But your body doesn't act autonomously. You need to command, to send commands, to send signals. We're fine, we're good, all is good. I'm whole, I'm loved, I'm seen and accepted. But if you don't say this, if you don't believe this, your body is going to respond to what you truly believe. I'm scared, I'm alone, nobody understands me, I'm not worth of being loved. At the bottom of it all, you guys have so many groups, but the soul circle, the one that I did in response to what was happening to you guys while you were on the healing journey, is the one that people get addicted to. We all need soul circle. We all need this kind of work because we're all afraid, because we're all disconnected from who we are. And I'm not talking about you don't know who you are. I'm talking about the disconnection from your soul. So that's why I call this soul circle. But now, again, if you're watching now, and I see Maria, Kathleen, it is because I left my family to come here in response to a very concerning message that I received in this group an hour or 2 ago of someone that is in the hospital and is feeling tremendously alone, most of all. And so if you're watching, I invite you to connect with me or anybody else in the group. You're not alone. That's why there is this group. That's why I created it. Because nobody should be feeling alone. But that is one of the major assumptions. Because, fear is also based on assumption. I'm alone. Nobody feels the way I feel. The assumption that we don't share human experience, that your experience is only yours, couldn't be further from the truth. That's why people find themselves and their health in the soul circle. Third assumption is that eventually you're not loved. You're not worthy of being loved. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And you think it's simple, but it's not. It's very complicated because this kind of assumption, you didn't just make them. You embody them since childhood in response of traumas that happened. And again, it doesn't have to be major traumas. When I do soul circle, I see people who have experienced physical trauma, sexual abuse, neglect, physical abuse. But it could also just be the trauma of living. We all experience that. We might not all have been, sexually abused, but we all experience the trauma of life. And if you breathe, you've been broken. If you breathe, you've experienced trauma. And because of that, the coping mechanism that comes with it is fear. Why? Because you want to make sure that you're never ever gonna feel the way you felt then. And you put a shield around yourself and you live life through fear, not through courage, not through faith, through fear. That's why the messages that come, they're fearful messages, they resonate with you because you're just expecting that shit is gonna hit the fan anyway. So I believe in him, I believe in her, I believe that the little dot possibly means that I'm gonna die tomorrow. You just very receptive to this kind of messages. And then you basically digging your own grave. Because at that point, as I said, tons of studies, this is one of them, but tons of studies that show how you living in fear, it's hindering the chemistry, it's changing the chemistry of your body, it's hindering your health to a detriment, to a point of possibly scared to death. Remember that. These old sayings, they have validity. I always find fascinating the truth in those, old phrases. So scared to death, there's a reason for it. So ask yourself, am I scared to death? Because it's an important question you need to ask yourself. Am I doing what I'm doing right now? Supplements, juices, 369, raw, fully raw, potatoes. Make sure I have potatoes in the fridge all the time. Am I living in a state of fear? Am I afraid to go to a restaurant? Am I afraid to see a friend? And now, with the vaccine, no vaccine, everybody's afraid. You don't even know what to be afraid anymore. Do you want to be afraid of the people who got vaccinated because they might transmit something? Do you want to be afraid to get the vaccine? Do you want to be afraid of the people who did not get vaccinated? I mean, it seems that every day there are new reasons to be afraid. And how do you think we're going to get healthy? And it is not because we live, we've been prepared. We've been prepared with fears. And by fears, I mean, so we're living like in a bunker. We are living with, I'm avoiding everything. I'm washing everything. I'm cleaning everything. The 10 steps to clean a package that comes from Amazon. Make sure that you just get your blood this way. God forbid you ever touch a drip of coffee ever again. How can you live like this? Is this life? Do you think that that's what a life worth living? And no. I know some of you may be thinking now, she doesn't know. If you were sick like me, Barbara, you would not be saying these things. You don't know. You don't know how sick I was. You don't know who I am. And again, I just proved to you that assumption that you had at the beginning, that you are the only one, that your experience, that your human experience is only yours, is the first assumption that builds the fear mindset. So you're not the only one. So if you really think that I don't know what I'm talking about, then proves to me that you are living in a state of fear, that you think that you're the only one. I know what you're going through. And not just me, a lot of people watching here right now know what you're going through. And as I said, we don't need to have been abused to know what trauma is. We don't need to have been abandoned to know what loneliness feels. So when people come to Soul Circle, they come and find each other. They find a dimension that it's like new eyes open up. And, oh, whoa, is that life? I didn't know that. And so I see this every day. That's why I'm so passionate, you guys. And I'm pretty sure that you can sense it from my voice, because I don't really talk like this all the time. But I'm so passionate because when I read these posts about people feeling lonely, abandoned, and ready to die, of course, I cannot not be touched. I cannot not drop my family and come here and say, well, wait a minute, what's happening here? Because this is a support group and we're supposed to support each other. But we also, I take myself that responsibility, we need to say the things, the harsh truth that maybe we don't want to hear. So maybe my upbringing, being European and being, raised in Europe and being a little bit more direct than most of, I guess, people in America, brought me, because that's what you tell me when you work with me, that you love how direct I am. But I am direct, and not, the cup of cake for everybody's cup of cake, but it's fine. But I have to tell you the truth. So if you are continuing to live in a state of fear, you are relinquishing your power, your healing power. You're outsourcing it, and then in this case, you will be always disappointed. Like this person said, Anthony didn't respond to me. Do you think that is Anthony's responsibility to respond to each one of us? It's not a responsibility. It's your responsibility to take your health into your own hands. Again, get information, get knowledge, but then go within, not outside, calling 5 different doctors and coming back to me, and that's what they told me. spiraling down, still outside of yourself. You know how you feel. Celery juice every day? Do it. Does it feel good? Continue. It doesn't feel good? You don't continue. It's very simple. But yet, not everybody understands that. Well, but he said that, it's in the books. People are doing it and they're feeling better. Yeah, but not you. And that's okay. And like you, thousands of other people. But do you have the courage to trust your own intuition? Because it seems to me that that's what's missing here. It's a support group and we need to support each other, hold space for each other. So come and vent, come and ask questions, come and share how hopeless you feel. But then also be open to the support. And that's what I'm hoping I'm giving today. And hopefully you guys are receiving it that way. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just hoping that you can open your eyes into how powerful it is to fear, not in a positive way, and how powerful it is to find the courage within. That is the answer, you guys. Please get this book. Again, I make no money out of this. It's not my book, but it's an awesome book. I know her. She was one of my teachers. But like her, she has reference and people, I mean, she's a scientist. She's an MD. She's not a kumbaya person. So read the books that she recommends too. Google it and see if anything she writes resonates. She has a blog. If anything she writes resonates with you. It's important that you understand that trauma and the coping mechanism that comes with it, being paralyzing and hindering our health since childhood. And in fact, if you see, the people who are not sick are the happy people. Happy people are not sick. Fearful people are sick. Depleted people are sick. People that lost hope are sick. People that feel lonely and abandoned are sick. People that don't have a purpose in life, they don't have a reason to wake up in the morning, are sick. So I hope that my little rant will reach someone today and it will say, oh wow, this makes sense. Oh, let me either reach out to me if you want to talk. Reach out to me and ask me what is Soul Circle about. Reach out to other people and just open a journal and start asking yourself the questions. Why is it that I'm doing what I'm doing? You know, I see a lot of you having issues with their spouses because the spouse after a while is like, listen, you're living this way. You're really censoring yourself from this food, this opportunity, this event, and you're still sick. So they don't trust what you're doing. They start thinking that you're crazy. Some of you even told me that the husband starts thinking that they're not even sick. They're just either want to be sick or they're trying to stay sick to get attention. So this level of disempowerment and fear is hindering your health at so many levels and is affecting the people around you. So ask yourself, why is it that you do the things you do? And if you're really honest with yourself, most likely you will find that the main reasons are because you're afraid. Ultimately, like I teach in Soul Circle, we're afraid of pain and we're afraid of death. You might not think so. You might say, well, I welcome death. Why are you not that already? Because you don't want to die. You want to live. But these are important questions you need to ask yourself. What is it that you're afraid of? What is it that you're resisting? Hey, Katie. Ask yourself these questions. These are really important questions. And Katie, I hope you go back and watch this because it's important. This live is probably one of the most important lives I ever done. And I want you to chime in and I want you to tell me if you think I'm crazy. But I know I am not. I'm that confident on this. There's no way. I do this every day. I see you guys all day long. I talk to you guys all day. I just finished today my reversing autoimmunity. Sorry, there's a bird there. Reversing my autoimmunity program. And when I asked people their experience and how they felt and whatnot, most of them convey to the same message. You opened up my eyes to so much more that goes into health and how to overcome my illness. And again, I'm not special. I think I've had enough experience. I want you to use me as a tool, as a sounding board. Anything I said today, does it resonate with you? Am I crazy? Did you journal? Did you ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I resisting? Am I doing things because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't? And if you answer yes to any of these questions, if you start to pinpoint what your real fears are, and then you gotta work on rewriting the stories, eliminate those assumptions that we talked at the beginning, right? The fact that you think that what you're going through, you're the only one who is going through. The fact that you think you're alone. The fact that you think that you're too sick, that your body's too faulty. Some of you said, I realized that my body cheated me. Your body didn't cheat you. In fact, your body's helping you. If you're feeling pain, your body's helping you. And it's working properly. It's not even, you may perceive disease and pain as something that, well, tough luck for me, I got bad genes, I got bad this. No, your body's working still precisely. The moment you feel pain, your body's working perfectly. So looking at disease and everything is happening to you from a different perspective, a much more empowered perspective, and finding the answers within you. When Lisa talks about spontaneous remissions, there's a science behind. And what seems to be a fluke, oh, this woman lost, she had cancer, no longer has cancer. Miracle. It's not a miracle. There's a rhyme and reasons as to why Anita Moorjani comes back to life after she was basically in coma, ready to die. There is a reason for it. And if you read her book, Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani, which is another book that I always recommend, you will know that she tells us she was dead, she came back, and the main message was go back and live your life fearlessly. So if we believe, we believe in her, right? Her experience and whatnot that she describes in so much detail, that the message was live your life fearlessly. That means that she was living, like most of us, her life in fear. She was very healthy and she got cancer. A few years ago, someone died within the medical medium community, someone that was following Anthony, and there were a lot of speculation that you might have heard of that. But the reason why I'm telling you is because one of my clients called me desperate. She said, Barbara, did you hear what happened? This person died. And I said, yes. She said, I'm lost. And I said, why? And then she said, because I thought that if I did everything right, for sure I was going to spare myself the sickness. But this person, she was a medical medium person from the beginning. Her diet was so clean, and yet she died. And seeing her so lost, truly, for me it was a shock. And I'm like, really? But what do you know about this person? Maybe you may know what she was eating on the plate. You don't know the other 50% of what she was swallowing and eating that was not on the plate. You don't know her mental state. You know her emotional state. You don't know her fear state. So we don't know. But again, just thinking like Anita Moorjani, that being healthy was just a ticket to live a long and healthy life. That's also an illusion. Because you refrain, and that's why you live in this bubble. God forbid a piece of cheese, God forbid a piece of meat, God forbid, that's the bubble. Meanwhile, you might sacrifice all of the food that you thrive or you had in your childhood or you wish you had once in a while, a baby shower, a wedding or something. But because you're doing it in fear, you're basically nullifying your efforts. Yes, you're not having stuff that feeds the viruses. You're not having mucus-producing food, acidic food. But because you're doing it in fear, the consequences of the state, and as I said at the beginning, the way fear changes your body and the chemistry of your body, they're much worse than you going out, enjoy a piece of bread or cheese or whatever that is with your friends and producing that state of well-being, of safety, of wholeness that will not touch your body. And we have tons of examples of that. And as Italian, I can tell you, you guys, Italians and French should be dead by now, mostly European. They should be all sick. And yet, the United States is one of the sickest countries. Italians, French, Spanish, they all eat gluten. There's no way you take away gluten to an Italian. You take away the passport before you take away gluten. So they should all be dead. They should all have sickness. They should all be overweight, diabetic. They should all have autoimmunity. They don't. In fact, Italy is one of the blue zones where people live over 100. And you know what they do? People who live over 100, they have their cheeses, they have their wines, but they have also a great social interaction and integration. They live in moderation. They have a good spiritual practice. They spend time outside in the sun. It's not just about reducing your food, you guys. It's not just about making sure you never have an egg. An egg passed through your mouth. This is not it. This is not the answer. So I'm not saying that now you turn this off and go, and have yourself eggs and bacon, But I will tell you that if you do it without fear, the eggs and bacon will not touch you. But you can have a piece of bacon and you will be symptomatic immediately if you go with the fear. And this has been proven. This is not me saying it. This has been proven. And all I ask you is to try for yourself, is to start asking yourself. And again, I'm not saying to jeopardize your diet, whatever it is that you're doing. I'm just saying start asking yourself, why is it that you do the things you do? And if the answer is you're doing it in fear because you're scared of what will happen if you don't, then you got work to do. And then maybe if you feel that you're not improving, if you feel that you're a standstill, if you feel that you're plateauing and maybe even going, I was eating the same thing, I was doing so well and now starting to gain weight. Yes, you heard me for years now talking about the lymphatic system, your elimination pathways, how many times do you go to the bathroom, measuring your blood pressure, all of this. And I've been coaching you guys, I'm still coaching you every month on this lymphatic reset. Now it's becoming as a life on its own. Yes, and I believe all of that. But all of you who have done my lymphatic reset, and Katie's here, you have heard me talking about the importance of living a life that is an empowered life. I give exercises to people in the lymphatic reset that have nothing to do with lymphatic system, that has nothing to do with liver and kidneys and all of that. I give them exercises, for instance, like a girl, to write a letter to her father in the lymphatic reset. This is not so circle, it's the lymphatic reset. Because if you don't do that, if you don't face your fears, first of all, acknowledge that you live in fear, and then starting to understand which one they are and why, and start facing them and eliminating them, just like you eliminate, the no food, there's no health. And all the major success I achieve with my clients are those who are willing to do the work, this kind of work. Because, doing a juice and making a salad, it's easy. It doesn't take, a genius, but, or I would say a lot of effort. But the real work, Katie, she's a breastfeeding mama. Katie came to me asking me, I heard about your lymphatic cleanse, but I'm breastfeeding. And I heard from everybody that it's not a good thing to cleanse while you're breastfeeding. And I said, well, Katie, you know what? This is not a cleanse. In fact, this is the anti-cleanse. This is a reset, which in fact stops your cleanse and helps you eliminate the toxicity that is being trapped in your body. So Katie had an amazing experience in the cleanse. She's even posted a testimonial. But what I'm saying here is Katie trusted the process. Katie said, I'm going to do this. So Katie went with her baby to her nipple into the lymphatic reset. And 2-3 weeks into it, she was like, it's amazing, I feel great, and my baby feels great and feels amazing. But Katie had to believe for herself. She had to check for herself. She could have stopped at any point, of course, right? But Katie had to believe. Katie had faith. Katie had faith in what I told her the body was going to do. So I don't claim to have this information from anywhere else but my clinical observation and my studies. That I try everything I say, you guys. It's not something like, oh, well, I heard this, try. No, I do it on myself. I do it with my people, with my family. So my daughter is 3 years old and she's 80% fruit. So when I told Katie, this is what you need, that's what your baby needs. And she did it. Katie had faith. Katie had courage. That's what you guys need. Katie had a great experience. That's what you guys need. You need courage. You need courage. But again, she didn't have faith in me. She had faith in the process. She tried for herself. She had the courage to try for herself and her baby and see. She could have stopped at any time. She tried. It was working. She did a little bit more. Every day a little bit more. And she had the courage to try. Try everything, you guys. Not because someone says you shouldn't do it, then you don't do it. If it makes sense for you, you try for yourself. Because then once you see what you see, nobody can tell you. Doesn't matter who that is. Nobody can tell you that it's not true. If it works for you, it works for you, and that is your truth. That is your power. Remember, Katie is saying lymphatic reset is amazing. My elimination pathways are open. My baby is happy, and my other daughter behavior is improved. Why? Because I always tell people when people bring me kids, and I say I will not treat the kid, unless I can treat the mother. the other daughter's behavior, Katie's behavior, got better because Katie's got better. So even her attitude changed, right? So maybe she's able to put up with some of the tantrums a little better, but her energy changed. And we're all energy beings, and so her kids perceive that energy and they change. They respond to the different type of energy. You guys, this is not, again, kumbaya, this is science. So, but I have to give it back to Katie. She got all this, but she started with her taking that leap of faith and say, okay, I'm gonna do it. When everybody else said that it's not good for her to do it while she's breastfeeding. Yes, it's not good for you to detoxify, for you to do a cleanse while you're breastfeeding. But a reset is different. In fact, anybody should be doing a reset, because all of you have been trying to detoxify here and there. But little that you know that you may be cleansing, but you're not detoxifying. Cleansing is what you're doing, bringing up on the surface the toxicity. But if the toxins don't leave your body, you're not detoxifying by default. So you have to also ask yourself, am I really detoxifying here or just spinning the wheel? Because a lot of you are getting sicker because you're spinning the wheel. So, but again, if you're watching now, hi Tammy, good to see you, love your daughter. Thank you so much for sending her up to my first lymphatic. And now Tammy's daughter, Jordan, is one of my accountability coaches. So you guys, ask yourself if you are living in a state of fear. Ask yourself, because the post I read today was so concerning that I'm asking myself, what am I doing? My husband keeps telling me, this is not your responsibility. You can't be responsible for everybody. But I felt the responsibility to come here as the leader of this support group to come and ask you, are you living in a state of fear? Because if that's what it is, if you lost hope, if you're just living out of fear, that might be the major roadblock to you ever, at any point, getting better. You might experience here and there remission of symptoms, but that is not true health. And I'm addressing the people whose health actually is going down, despite the good food, staying compliant, the over and over 369, and the health is going down. There is a reason. You're not too sick. You're not broken. There is a reason, but that reason needs to be found inside of yourself. So start being honest. Start looking at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living in a state of fear? Have I outsourced my healing journey? And then see what you come up with. See what the answer is. You have tools. You have us. We're here. This is a support group. But always take everything with salt or grain, even whatever I'm saying to you right now. I don't want you to take my word for it. And then start tuning in. You can't just be outward. You have to go inward, tune in, and understand what is happening here. What is happening with me? Why am I afraid of everything? Why am I afraid to try the piece of anything? Why am I afraid to breathe the air? Why am I afraid to go out and be next to someone that has been vaccinated? Or why am I afraid to get the vaccine? Why am I afraid to be vaccinated and be next to someone that is not vaccinated? Why this constant fear? Why do you obsessively listen to podcasts, to Anthony's podcast, and then come and complain, oh my God, this is happening with the blood. Oh my God, this is happening with the coffee. Oh my God, this is happening with the sky. And instead of feeling empowered, this leaves you powerless, hopeless. Someone said, what is the point? I read that and I was coming to do another live because I said, this is not okay, not in this group. When she listened to the podcast and said, what's the point of living at this point anyway? You guys, this is not a good message to send out. There's no healing in that. So I don't care who says what, but if people then feel hopeless, and they're very sensitive people who are really sick here and listening to these messages, they don't feel empowered. They don't feel like, this is great, let me get better so that I can have this life full of fears and having to protect myself from everything because everybody's there to get us. So, when we're trying to help people, we also have to be mindful of what the response will be. If we're just trying to get views and likes and followers, maybe that's the way, because fear keeps people, like the government. What are they trying to do? It's a prime example, right? But then let's not blame the government and then empowering and embodying the same, right? Going out with fearful messages that keeps people afraid and like sheep. The message, whoever talks, I don't care, but the message has to be only one. You find your answers inside of yourself. The power is inside of yourself. It's not in anybody's word. You want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. You don't want to get vaccinated, you don't get vaccinated. As long as You make the choice because that is the right choice for you, not because you're scared of what will happen if you don't. Today someone said, my son just got COVID, is thinking about getting the vaccine at 19 because otherwise all of his friends did it, and he's afraid to be left out. So now, get the vaccine. First of all, to me, it's mind-blowing that someone that just got COVID would want to get a vaccine, but because he's afraid that. Now, anytime you do anything because you're afraid that something will happen, then you know that that's not the right choice, for sure. That is not the choice that comes from a field of power that we talked about. This is not the courageous choice. This is not the choice that keeps the faith going and leads you to health. So please, you guys, if you have the chance to watch this live, I don't even know how long it was. It was a long rant, but I hope that you feel that it came from my heart. Again, I dropped everything I was doing to come here and do that so that you guys, at some point, one of you, 2, 3, 10, hundreds, I don't know, of you will watch this and say, wow, let me take a step back and start to look inside of myself and see, how do I make decisions? Am I living in a state of fear? Maybe that could be the reason why I'm not getting better. And then my day cut in half with my family would have been worth it. Okay, everybody, so that's it. I wish you a great weekend, and some of you, I'll see you tomorrow or Sunday on our lymphatic reset call.